Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at Terminal 3, Changi International Airport. Thank you for flying with us, and we look forward to serving you in the future.
As you can see, Singapore is immensely diverse. A former British colony, it has 4 official languages and 3 major ethnic groups. You will find spaces like Chinatown and Little India, but you will also find spaces like Clarke Quay, the major entertainment district, or Orchard Road, the major shopping district. So how does Singapore, a small island nation, come to have such immense diversity? I'm Joe Daniels, and I am currently studying geography at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, as well as the National University of Singapore. That's me in the center, surrounded by my classmates at NUS. Let's find out how Singapore is able to keep track of such diversity, while also planning for its future. But first, where is Singapore? I will give you a hint. It's not in China. Singapore is located at the tip of Malaysia. Once part of Malaysia, Singapore claimed its independence in 1965, shortly after Malaysia had gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1963. Thus, Singapore is a small island city-state with few natural resources of its own. Yet it has been able to leverage its strategic location to establish itself as a major global economic player. But how will it manage its development in the future? We will be looking at mainly the central portion of Singapore in order to answer this question. Under the direction of the Economic Development Board and the Urban Redevelopment Authority, Singapore is able to carefully plan and direct development to meet its needs, plan for diversity, and work towards its future goals. Its current future goal is to establish itself as a creative global city. In order to make Singapore a creative city, Singapore's planners knew they needed to change the entire economic landscape of Singapore. To do this, they established the Marina Bay Development District, a district intended to marry the cultural features present in Singapore with its business interests, and thus help to create a vibrant 24-hour city for working and playing. This is the centerpiece of the Marina Bay Development District. Known as the Marina Bay Sands, it is intended not only as a symbolic new addition to the Singaporean skyline, but as a testament to the creative global city aspirations of Singapore's planners. Built upon land reclaimed from the ocean 20 years ago, it is also a result of a long-term planning philosophy. Thus, it is the culmination of a desire to marry the business interests of the Singaporean state with the social and cultural developments deemed necessary for the production of a vibrant 24-hour city, one that is creative and can produce innovations into the future vital for a successful economy. However, more than just the physical space, the Urban Redevelopment Authority, in conjunction with other agencies, has worked to develop Singapore as a place for the creative class, to appeal to both talented Singaporeans and talented foreigners alike. This means a commitment to technology, tolerance, and talent. And while Singapore has been successful on the technology front, it still has a way to go on the tolerance front. One strategy used by Singapore's planners to develop an ethic of tolerance in Singapore is to produce what are known as little Bohemians, or spaces where creative people can come to relax, where alternative lifestyles are not regulated. Rather, they are accepted as necessary for the production of a creative and innovative economy. Holland Village, pictured here, is one such space. However, one must always be careful, for activities allowed here are not always acceptable in other portions of Singapore, such as the residential estates. Nevertheless, Singapore's planners produce these sometimes exclusive spaces because they view them as being demanded by the creative class, which is necessary for economic survival. But can these really be planned? Can freedom, or the freedom of creativity, be planned? Singapore has been able to use its strength as a competent planner to build one of the healthiest economies in the world. It has done this by carefully planning the uses of every space in the country, as well as producing new spaces when needed, reclaiming land from the ocean. The image here shows just how such efforts can be so intensive in such a small space. First, on the horizon, we have the refineries, as well as the harbor, which play testament to Singapore's old economy advantages of strategic location. Secondly, we have the science park and the university, which are emblematic of Singapore's new economy, the new creative economy. Their proximity is no accident, but rather a testament to the ability of planners in Singapore. However, going forward into the future, towards an expressly creative or entrepreneurial economy, Singapore will experience many challenges. Will targeting this creative class leave many behind? Will they be excluded from the spaces required by such a creative economy? I leave you with two questions. Can Singapore plan for creativity and innovation? Is planning antagonistic to creativity? And secondly, how does this compare to the U.S.? Are there any institutions that do planning on the scale visible in Singapore?